Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Al Scott. I'm the director of the International Graduate Programs Office here at Navy Postgraduate School. And it's my great pleasure to welcome this afternoon General retired Luhut Panjaitan. He's had a highly distinguished career in the military and government of the Republic of Indonesia, as well as in the private sector. He is currently the Coordinating Minister for Maritime Affairs of Indonesia. He previously held positions in the Indonesian government, including the Coordinating Minister for Political Justice and Security Affairs, concurrently held the position of Chief of Staff of the President of the Republic of Indonesia, was the Minister of Trade and Industry of the Republic of Indonesia, and also the Ambassador of Indonesia to the Republic of Singapore. His extensive military experience includes commander of the Indonesian Military Training Center, commander of the Center for Infantry, and commander of Special Forces units at the group and detachment level. After retiring from the military in 2004, he founded Tobo Sahatra Group, a fast-growing group with 3 core activities: natural resources, electricity generation, and agriculture. He has also devoted extensive time to charitable activities, including the chairman of the Dell Foundation, which has created schools including a technology college for underprivileged students, a bilingual high school for gifted children, a kindergarten and elementary school, and in addition, the Foundation awards scholarships and funds education, infrastructure, development, and construction. General is a graduate of George Washington University Masters of Public Administration program, the National Defense University at Fort McNair, the Indonesian Army Staff College, and the Indonesian Military Academy. So please join me in extending a warm welcome to General Panjaitan.
Dr. Scott, Director International Graduate Program, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the very generous introduction. Yes, I spent 32 years in military, and out of 32 years in military, I spent 22 years in special forces. So I went to so many special forces training. I went to Fort Bragg 2 times, 1978 and 1980. I joined the special forces training over there, and I joined also the Halo training in Fort Bragg. And I went to Special Air Service in UK, and to also SBS in Poole. So then to GSG-9 in Germany. So I'm very, maybe the only one Indonesian Army Special Forces could go to so many training outside of Indonesia. So that's why I don't know why I have to be here today talking about economy, you know. So, must be something wrong with the training. You know. So I'm the founding father of Indonesian counter-terrorists. I'm the first commandant of the Indonesian Army counterterrorism, which is, I think, the creme de la creme of Indonesian Army. So we have a very distinguished reputation, and still remember I went to so many military operations around the country, Indonesia. One of the operations, I was parachuting in East Timor, 7 December 1975. I think you are still somewhere in the middle of nowhere, because it was 40 years ago, 41 years ago. I don't know how old are you, Captain? I think you are below 30 or maybe around early 30. Yeah. So maybe you're somewhere in the middle of nowhere. So I'm so delighted to be with you in San Francisco this morning. I would like to thank you to the Naval Postgraduate School for giving me the opportunity to speak in such a beautiful institution. I understand that the Naval Postgraduate School is a very prestigious institution. Nearly 1,300 students attend this school from nearly 30 all countries and a small number of civilian, federal, and state employees. I believe most of the students would become very important decision makers that will help determine where the U.S. is heading and where its world is heading in the near future. In this occasion, I would like to talk about Indonesian development strategy to promote growth, to reduce inequality, and to tackle security issues. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're going to be leader one day, because leadership is science and art. But in my mind, always art and science, because I believe as a leader, if you give an example, good example to your people will follow you. People will respect you. Whenever and whatever you do, they will remember you as a commandant, a good commandant, because you take a responsibility and give a good example to your subordinate. Let me begin with the introduction about Indonesia. I think most of you understand about Bali, while Bali is the only small part of Indonesia. Bali is maybe like 4 or 5 million population, and Indonesia consists of 17,000 islands. And if you don't believe with me, you count one by one. And I didn't aware that 70% of Indonesia consists of sea, at sea. So our territory basically only 30% on land. So then how important the maritime for Indonesia, and how rich Indonesia all about. Indonesia is a very rich country. Then if you look at now, which around 4,000 miles or 6 hours flying time from Jayapura to Aceh. It's like New York to Los Angeles. So this is a from the very busy modern country to the very remote area. So this is a kind of Indonesia. The Indonesia consists of the 300 ethnics, which is, I think, very diverse. We are the 4th most populous country on the largest Muslim countries with the more than 200 million population. If you look at a slide here, look at Indonesia, 225 million. And we are the 3rd largest democratic country. If you remember, maybe Google back to this year, March, the local election, 269 districts simultaneously to elect their own chief district and governor. No single incident. While the country, 90%, our population are Muslim. But no problem, because we are successful to convince them you have right to vote the right person to be your leader in your respectful district. This is one expression of our philosophy, unity in diversity. This philosophy is also expressed the diverse cultures of our people. That's all about Indonesia. If you look at also the 220 million, out of 250 million, Indonesian population are Muslim. But for us, religion is your own business. It's not, don't bring this to create conflict. Do we have a problem? Yes. Are we successful to contain the problem? Yes. But I'm not saying that we don't have problem. Indonesia is a very unique country. I told some of my colleagues in Washington, you have to look at Indonesia. Indonesia is a rich country. We bring stability in that region very much. Being the largest ASEAN countries. ASEAN consists of 600 60 million population. Out of 660 million, 255, this is Indonesian population, nearly half of ASEAN. And then you mentioned earlier 300 ethnic group and 700 languages, local languages. There are some places maybe they cannot communicate with the other places. So that's, I think, diversity of Indonesia. Next. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look at also that this is Indonesian general election, volunteer and social media. This is the data show to you that Indonesia also exposed to the social media very much. Indonesia is a very rich country and also very exposed to the media very much. You will surprised to have a look in Indonesia that volunteer doing also for the campaign is very popular in Indonesia. This is also very transparent country. You don't expect Indonesia is going to be very transparent. Like your debate last night, two candidate, Hillary and Trump. I don't know which one you're going to vote. Indonesia is not a big deal on that. We have a very hard debate 2014 for the president election. But we are mature to understand this is the democracy all about. And volunteer groups play a much more significant role compared previous election. This one is very much, but no single incident happened. But they shouting here, shouting there, but stop, no more than that. Because they know their right, they know the border. You cannot go this, because otherwise you're against the law, you will arrest by the police. Next slide. This is, I think, the Joko Widodo, our president today, wrote to presidency. This is very important. He's from the small business man in Solo and moved to be mayor in small city in Solo, middle center of Java, and then to be governor of Jakarta and to be the president of the Republic of Indonesia. So the president showed to the people, I'm the president, I'm the leader of this country. That he proved it also, that I'm a humble president, I'm the simple president, I dare to make a decision. I take responsibility to protect of my subordinate. That's, I think, very important to all of you officers here. You have to take responsibility also to any action what happened on your chain of command. This is very important because you have to take care of them. This one, leadership all about. I remember when I was parachuting, I was first lieutenant. I lost 8 of my soldiers within 3 hours. Why? Because we get the very strong resistance from the ground. And they get killed, and that's, I think, soldiers are all about. Last night we still discussed, this is our target, do this, do that, do that. And we didn't realize we're going to face this kind of very hard resistance. And tomorrow, my sergeant, the squad leader, gone. My commandant, gone. But we have to continue to proceed to take over the target. But this is, I think, the spirit of the military. And we cannot give up because we have to maintain or to keep the dignity of the unit. If you look at this one, I think Jokowi won with the 53% against 46%. While the 46%, he was my deputy before. He's very flamboyant general. But with this, Joko Widodo, very simple, very humble, he won. Next slide. If you look at now Indonesian economy profile, I think the economy, our economy today is very good. Our GDP is growing now, $900 billion, and I believe today is over $1 trillion because of the successful of tax amnesty. This is, I think, very important for Indonesia. If you don't successful for this, is going to be very bad for Indonesia. So today, if you look at now our GDP, our growth, first quarter this year is 5.18%, which is, I think, very good compared to the countries surrounding Indonesia, or if you look at also the economy around the world. So national budget also increasing significantly. Inflation, we are successful to maintain below 3%, which is, I think, good for Indonesia. And national budget also increasing to $157 billion this year. And we believe next year we can go up this national budget. Unemployment rate still, a bit 5.5%, but decreasing. The public debt, I think, is very good, 27% out of our GDP, which is, I think, much lower compared to US. And also this one, 32% or 38% million people are working in the agriculture sector, which is, I think, agriculture is very important for Indonesia today. If you look at also the financial component here, labor per sector, agriculture, manufacturing, etc. So we're trying very much right now to see more downstream industry. We don't want to export raw material anymore. We see the added value of that. Why? Create job opportunity. Why? Tax additional to this downstream industry. Used to be, we just make it easy. Export, export, export. Today, no more. Like gas, we are producing quite much gas. We're going to see petrochemical. That's the new policy of the government of Indonesia today. Next. Next. Now, if you look at also the GDP growth and increase inequality, this is, I think, very important inequality. We are not talking only on the growth. Growth, one thing, but equality is very important. If you don't have equality, that's also create radicalism. Radicalism is a big problem. So if you don't have equality, then create radicalism. Even in US. In the US, if you don't have equality in the near future, then you see, you will be facing also big problem. So for us, this is also very important. If you look at also the Gini coefficient here, it is now decreasing. Used to be during the commodity price very high, it's very low, 3.035. But then increasing, but then 0.41. But since last year, we are successful to bring down. Why? This is also what we call it village fund. We allocated, I will go down to that one, we allocated also village, fund to the village. Next. Now, high logistic cost in Indonesia is very high. Indonesia is very inefficient country. So we work very hard since last year. If you look at now here, like in Singapore compared to Indonesia, like this. Indonesia nearly 25? 27. If you look at also here, cost transportation as total cost, the average Indonesia 14.1 compared to Japan 4.9. So inefficiency. Now we work very hard on this. We like to push to bring half to 7% by the year 2019. In order to do so, a lot of efficiency now program within the country. Make it easier for investment to invest in Indonesia. That's one, I think, the biggest program of the government of Indonesia today. Next. This is also a wide gap on poverty rate between population living in the village and urban. Still, in the urban and village, they go down, but it's still parallel. What we need, basically, they have to be, the gap have to be narrowing. That's, I think, the program today. We like to see this village go down, and then one day can be together with the villages. Next. Look at also the low dependency ratio, but diverse human development index. This is also very dangerous for Indonesia. The demographic bonus for until 2035, 2014, it is very good for Indonesia. But if you don't educate the people in this age, it's going to be disaster. We said the demographic bonus can be changed to demographic disaster. So we work very hard right now. That's why we allocated around $40 billion for education every year. Next year is going to be up. So every year we increase number of the budget for the education. Next. Now, reforms is needed to improve investment. That's, I think, one problem. Before, Indonesia in 109. But today, I think we are already around 90. But we work very hard to bring down, maybe near Malaysia and Singapore. Can we do it? Yes, we have to do it. The answer, have to do it. So we work very hard to do so. How do we do it? Make it simple. Procedure to get, I will go down to the next slide on that. To get the purchase price agreement for the electricity. Used to be very long to do so. Right now we make it faster than before. Next. This is our strategy. I think the strategy used to be focused on Java. Now, no more. We go down everywhere in Indonesia. That's, I think, also equality. Equality, we're talking also from the high level to the low level. And also increasing competitiveness is very important. Today, Indonesia, since January, we are entering what we call it the ASEAN Economic Community. And we are also facing the PTT. And if that happens, Indonesia have to be ready to join the PTT. Also, we transform the economy, like I mentioned earlier. We don't realize anymore to the commodities base. We like to go to the, the added value. Added value is very important for us, the processing things, and then small, medium enterprises. We like to see more and more small, medium enterprises, grow in Indonesia. That, I think, strengthen, enhance our economy when we are facing instability like today. Next. Now, this is, I think, is very good. Government commit, build infrastructure, and reduce subsidy. If you look at now the data over there, since 2008, always the subsidy double of the infrastructure budget. But if you look at starting from 2015, the subsidy same with the infrastructure budget. But 2016, the subsidy half of the infrastructure project. So the subsidy we convert to the infrastructure project. Why? Because again, the cost transportation because of the infrastructures. Then also the infrastructure create job opportunity. While the subsidy basically enjoyed by sometimes enjoy also with the rich people. Not only the ordinary people, but also in the upper class. So we don't want to see that one. We like to subsidy, but subsidy have to go directly to the people who need it. So you look at also the growth here, government capital spending. Look at the 2014, 2015, increasing significantly. The last 10 years, you see the number still very low. Why? We spend too much on subsidy. Next. Ladies and gentlemen, we plan for the next 5 years, $450 billion for the infrastructures. How do you get money? Of course, easy. Number one, the efficiency. Number two, subsidy. Number three, tax revenue. Tax revenue, 80% of our state budget. And today, we have $130 billion around that one, from the tax. But with tax amnesty next year, we believe then we can go up maybe to $150 billion. Meaning $20 billion is a lot. Then the year after, I believe, only from the tax, we can go up maybe near $180 billion, which is, I think, a lot. The different $50 billion for the next 3 years, then you can build so many things within the country. We're talking infrastructure, talking about the school, talking about the health, talking about many things. So that's, I think, the beauty of Indonesia today. So the government focus on this, and we manage this very well. Next. Then, sorry, back in. We see we focus on power because electricity is very important. We're going to increase number of power plant in Indonesia. And seaport, this is very important because you see that dwelling time in Indonesia, I think you are very familiar with that, still very high, like 5 days to 6 days. Today we're targeting less than 3 days. And we are doing to that direction because we understand already the problem. So we fix the problem. I think within 6 months to 1 year, we can go down to 3 days or less than 3 days. Next. And look at now extensive toll road construction. If you look at now, Indonesia is very low over there compared to Singapore, somewhere else. But if you look at this data, the last 10 years also, 15 years, I think growth only 4%. But the last 2 years, we are growing 15%. And I still believe then we can grow maybe to 20% for the next 3 years. Why? Because our economy moving quite well. Next. Now this is a construction, under construction right now from Sumatra, Semerak in Java Island, all the way down to Banyuwangi. This is like 1,100 kilometers under a toll road. This is nearly done. I think we are successfully so far 425 kilometers. The completion 2019. We are moving very well now, very quick, very fast. Next. Now this is I think in Sumatra construction. So parallelly, Java, Sumatra, Sulawesi Island, we are doing simultaneously. Now look at this one. It is 2,700 kilometers. We have to, the completion of this 2021. This is under construction right now. We are moving. So you see now the budget funding in the area much bigger than before. Next. Now increasing port capacity, that's I think is very important. Today our capacity in Indonesia only 16 million TEUs. Our target is around 30 million TEUs for the next 3 years. We have to, work very hard on this one. And I still believe very well, when we manage this well, we can reach this target. Next. Now, port expansion in Tanjung Priok. Tanjung Priok is the capital of Indonesia. Seaport at the capital of Indonesia. This is the program of the government, program of my ministry. We work on this. We spend a lot of fund for this. Now, we don't want just state budget. We invited the private sector to do so, because when the project IRR above 12%, I think very attractive to the investor to invest. Because some of the project IRR 15%, which is a lot of people want to do so. So this is I think the port. This is now the new one construction. This is already done. This is can accommodate altogether around 2 million TEUs on top of existing one. Next. This is the one-stop service that I mentioned to you earlier, because make it simple. It used to be to get the license for the power plant 923 days. Very long. Maybe you need 2 babies before you get the license. Now only 256 days. And my president said and he reported very proudly, I mean the minister of, the investment board, say, Mr. President, let me report this. And my president, oh, it's good, very good. But don't report to me if you're not successful to bring 256 days to 100 days. He was shocked. So then, that's I think the spirit. The president said, reported to me when you make it very simple. Make it the comparison countries surrounding Indonesia. That's I think efficiency. Then, that's the challenge from the president. So, what happened today? This one already less than 200. Cut. Now, I told my staff, talking about the cost recovery. Our oil is $11.7 billion. And I told him last week, I said, this year only $10.4 billion. He said, well, we can do it, but then we have to reduce the production. I said, no, you have to maintain the same level of production. Then you have to bring down to $10.4 billion. Well, it's very hard. If very hard, somebody can do it. You choose. Yes, sir. Yeah. Then he can do it. So as long as you push them to do it, and you know already that he knows that you knew that this is going to happen, he will follow you. So then you have to study first. I have an expert with me. This gentleman, please standing. He's my advisor. He's a specialist on, what's your specialist? He's basically mathematician background. He's a mathematician background, I asked him, what's your undergrad? Mathematician. So what happened to you? You went to Texas A&M to get your PhD. Because I study about the oil and gas, and I feel very comfortable to do so. That's why. And then I said, can you give me advice how much we can go down? He said, you can go down for $10.4 billion. Why? Because okay, can we do that? Yes, we can do it. I said to him, If you cannot follow, somebody can replace you. Immediately jump, Nobody want to replace because you're not successful. Yeah, so that's simple, So then you have to challenge also your staff. Can you do this one? In military operation, I always challenge my staff. When I get ready, my commandant under me, I said, no, if I can do it, you can do it. That's why I never set up any program before I ask myself whether I can do it or not. Any program done by my soldiers, I have to ask myself first. Hey, Luhut, can you do this? I said, yeah, I can do it. If I can do it, I'm an officer, and you were lieutenant, I'm a major at the time. I said, hey, what the hell of you? You better get out, So that's the way that you have as a commandant, you have to show to your people, hey, this is the commandant. That's why they will respect you anytime, anywhere you go. Until today, I'm 69 years old. My soldiers still remember, hey, this commandant is a really tough commandant. And he proved it what he said. That's very important. For you also, ladies and gentlemen, you have to prove what you say. You have to deliver what you promise. If you cannot do that, forget it. Same thing with the others. That's I think the government of the program of the government of Indonesia. Next. Okay, this is the implementation of what do you call it? The OSS is favorable. Is one saving processing license after the implementation. One-stop services. This I think the program one under one roof. So this one increasing power. What do you call it? What's that? Power procedures. Make it very fast right now. So foreign investor love it to invest in Indonesia. Do we have problem? Yes. Much problem? Yes. We solve the problem some? Yes. But still moving, but still facing the problem. If you don't have a problem, you go to the heaven. Still on earth, you still have a problem. Yeah. That's a thing life. That's a certain dynamic of life. Realization of domestic and foreign direct investment, I think, continues increasing. Why? Because the people enjoy very much with the new spirit within the government of Indonesia. Next. This is, I think, the tax amnesty. This is the success, one of the most successful on earth today. We are successful to get within 1 month. Yeah. Within 1 month. This is nearly $6 billion. It's immediately strengthen our rupiah, our currency. Immediately boost our economy. So we believe next year we can grow 6%. Why? So much money get into Indonesia. We are the second successful on this one. But I think by end of, because this program end up by March next year, I think we are the most successful. Why? We formed a strong team. Remember, when I was in Special Forces, I always formed a strong team. We have to trust each other. We have to work each other. I remember one day when in Timor, when I was first lieutenant, because so many fire there, I said, okay, you go there, 3 of them, 4, 5. At the end, so only myself and my radio, what do you call it, radio man, Only 2 of us, huh? Only 2 of us, yes sir. Okay, you facing there and facing there. That's a problem, though. But they say, oh, the commandant's very dare, very brave, only 2 of us. I didn't know that only 2. If I knew that 2, I know. Better setting life in the military, I don't know you guys, come on, you're facing the same thing. That's you have to manage yourself. You have to manage your brain. That's I think very important. Next. This is also revitalization, agriculture infrastructure. This is I think our program. This dam, been there 40 years. No finalize of this dam. We finished this one within 1 year. You know how much? 90,000 hectares of paddy field. How many people enjoy this program? We have 49 dams like this for the next 5 years. So, meaning what? Meaning you can see the agriculture of us self-sufficient going forward. So that's I think the fruit of this program. Next. This is I think the very interesting one, the involvement of the military. Military is very important in Indonesia. You know what? We have village funds. Next. This is, I think, the village funds. How do we manage this village fund? Because we have 74,000 something villages around the country. So that's, I think, the part of the equality program. We are not talking also only the growth enjoyed by like me. I'm a rich man, big businessman. Yeah. But the ordinary people, that's a lot. So we create program what we call it village fund. Village fund basically for this one, clean water, sanitation station, etc. Village road, the small one. For you, maybe $90,000 small. But in Indonesia, that's a big money for the villagers. They never see the money like that. Now, how do we give the money? If you don't control this money, the chief village will marry again. They use the money to marry a girl again. So then we have to control. Then we see the military people can do this one because they have chain of command very much. We give the order, you have to do this. Otherwise, if you don't fulfill this target, I will replace you. I will move you. Oh, they don't want to move. Nobody want to get a problem or to bring to the court. Everybody. Then they work like this. And the people fall in love to the military. They say, hey, before we never get the money directly like this. Now, by doing this one, this is military. Look at it, they have the people to manage all the government support to the people in the village. Next. Next. Now this is the number of funds. This year, nearly 90,000 US dollar. Next year, 130,000 US dollar, etc. So this is time every year increasing. So meaning what? Meaning the people will enjoy. They have the prediction. They can plan something in their own village. Next. This is the government program implementation. Also monitored by the military. No weapon, just discipline. They train the people because we train also the soldiers what they have to do to successful the program that we have here. Next. Now, if you look at this, very interesting, we check whether this program is successful or not. We do some, survey. No, you tell about survey. Come on. Yeah. Because he does this survey.
So
Yeah.
basically, this is the survey from the CSIS, Center of Strategic for International Studies. So this is the popularity of the army is the highest in Indonesia because of they are helping the people to get the right aid from the government. They have to monitor the aid, so there is no diversion from the aid, etc. So this is 91%. So this is highest compared to the Corruption Eradication Commission. 2 years ago, this one should be the highest. But the latest survey is made in August 2016. This is 91%. I think this never happened before in Indonesia because the popularity of the army is so popular because they are helping a lot of the ordinary people, especially in the village region.
Why? They're happy because the villagers happy with this program. With the way not only the program, the way the military involved to make this program successfully. Next.
Is the president mad at the army
Yes.
for being more popular?
Yeah. This is very funny, Before, president more popular than the army. Today, this one I was shocked, There's something wrong with this, But this is true. Why? Because they went to the ground. They communicate with the people. They live with the people. They train the people. So day to day. And the president gives us fully support. That's why the president still higher than the Corruption Eradication Commission, which is, I think, very popular in Indonesia. But surprised me that the president and the army is very popular right now. Next. Next. Now let me talk about our portion, my portion, I think the biggest problem right now, one of the biggest problems in Indonesia right now is the terrorism, radicalization. Look at now the lone wolves. That's, I think, the biggest issue, even in US. This one, we can control this one. Right now, we are successful to monitor all the terrorist activities within the country. With our system, we are successful. I think my staff, they are successful to put all the data so we can follow money and then follow all the terrorist movement over there. So we can, I can claim today that we are quite successful on this particular issue. But it doesn't mean that Indonesia is immune from terrorist attack. No way. Even in US, lone wolf, you cannot monitor mind of the people. That's, I think, the biggest problem. Next. This is also the propaganda recruitment pattern in Indonesia. I think every country has their different pattern, but it's the pattern in Indonesia. Of course, social media is a very advanced thing. Right now, even terrorists using the social media. The last incident in Jakarta, in Tamrin, I think you remember February, January this year. We understand they are using already Telegram. So it's very hard to break this code. I asked my counterpart from Washington. At the time, they're not successful so far to break the code of Telegram. But today, I think we can do that without American support. We can do it. Yeah, this is, I think, the technology. You not necessarily go to CIA to do so, because our people also in Indonesia, a lot of smart people over there can play with this technology. Next. Okay, this is, I think, the very key characteristic comparison on terrorism profile between Al-Qaeda and Indonesia. If you look at the left side, how did they do it? In this Al-Qaeda, 75% are professionals with variety high-skilled jobs, engineering and architect, etc. And only 60% had tertiary education, this one. But if you look at Indonesia, it's different. That's why we believe equality, education, poverty is very important to tackle in order to minimize radicalization within the country. That's, I think, that's what we believe. By seeing this, this data, then we understand our strategy. We have to do this and that. Then so far we are successful. We monitor this very well. Yeah, we can see, we can follow them. Money follow the people. Yeah. Money follow the people. Next. Now, we need to classify convicted terrorism into three categories. Number one, I think, ideologue. Ideologues, nothing we can do much, because they have already assist. Whether you kill them or not, they still exist. So then we believe later on, from our research, we have to, isolate. Don't let them communicate with their own people. Before, they live with their own people. Then, easy to recruit their own people surrounding him. Today, no more. We put them with the special treatment. We give him considered luxury life, but no communication with outside. Number two, this is also militant operator. This is also operatives is very important. It's very hard to change their mind, but still small opportunity, which is still very hard. But this one, number three, supporters, yes, we can change this one. So we have to separate this one, isolate number one different with the number two and to number three. Make it simple. Now, in order to successful to do so, we have to have a separate prison for this true group. And so far, I can tell you we're successful to monitor all the activities. We understand they have a contact before from the ideologue Abu Bakar Bashir or Amanur Rahman to Raqqa in Syria. They have a communication to there. We intercept their communication. Today, no more. Since we isolated them in the special prison, no more communication, and the activities slowing down. But it doesn't mean stop. Yeah, we have to be careful. They can look for another means to achieve that one. Next. Ladies and gentlemen, there are two approaches, hard approach or soft approach. Strongly, we believe soft approach is the best. I discussed with some of your faculty member here and also with my counterpart from US also some times ago. We don't believe the hard approach is the priority. Number two is our priority. Using religion, using culture, using poverty, prosperity, this I think better than hard approach. But it doesn't mean that we don't prepare the hard approach. Hard approach is there. If you cannot successful to do this, then we can, boom, do the, how do you call it, hard approach. So that's, I think, our approach. Because we study your president in Afghanistan and in Iraq, spend $1 trillion, what the result? Yeah. And then the people more anger to US. This approach, I think, is better. For us, I don't know for US, but as again, I believe, if you touch ordinary people, I told also your faculty member, the people look at also, oh, the money you give poor to, what do you call it, to somewhere Afghanistan, so stay on the top. Maybe only 10%, 20% goes down. Corruption. You create another corruption problems here. But if you put the money down to the ground, and the people enjoy the fruit of this one, they will say, hey, thank you, America. But today, same thing in Indonesia. We understand that one. So we experienced one in the small level, say, no, bring money directly to the ground. But of course, you also to the top. So that's, I think, again, art. As I mentioned earlier, leadership is science and art. I said art and science. That's the way you do it. Next. Well, now, the other problem for Indonesia that we are facing today is drugs. Drugs is a much bigger, much harder problem, if I may say, in this particular time. It's a serious matter. Look at the number here, 13%. Look at the data 2015, increasing. Next. Look at now, related to the drugs, HIV in Papua, 2.4%. In West Papua, 3.2%. That's a problem. We are fighting this one problem right now. Spend billions of dollars for this. But then we have to tackle this one. You look at now the border of Indonesia. Yeah. This is 54,000 kilometers. That's a very long to manage. So, entry point to Indonesia, toward Indonesia is they can go from anywhere. So that's a thing that facing by the government of Indonesia today. We have to learn, we have to work together with the ASEAN, with America, with any countries in order to protect our border. Illegal fishing, so far we are successful to take it down. But this one also is another problem facing by the government of Indonesia. Next. Drugs and narcotics, if you look at now, every year, every day, 30 to 50 people get killed. Every day. And there is no border. It's nothing to do with the religion, nothing to do with the rank, nothing to do with the status. They just penetrate everything, penetrate everywhere. This is the problem. So we are facing this kind of problem. Drug users, when we divide it now, drug user we put to the rehabilitation center, but the drug dealers we put to the prison. Because 70% nearly the movement of the drugs managed from the prison. We understand that one. So we work very hard to manage this one. Next. Now, let me come up to the hot issue about South China Sea. Yeah, I think smiling some of you, wow, this is the problem, hot issue, because everybody, South China Sea is simple as that, over there, you look at now, 9-dash line. We never recognized that one, and when I went to Beijing 3 months ago, I met my counterpart, Minister Meng and Minister Yang. I told them loud and clear the status of the government of Indonesia. We don't recognize that one. We don't want to see any power projection over there. We like to see this become, a peaceful area. So, and they claim about this area, this is historically belong to China because of the Chengho, because of the sentiment, because, we said the Chinese, a lot of sentiment over there belong from the mainland. I said, well, I'm sorry, if you claim based on that one, I may claim also this, some of the China part of Indonesia because of the Tambora eruption, the Krakatau eruption. sentiment, maybe somewhere in over there, because, this is 3 days they cover, the globe. Yeah, even maybe here in Monetery is part of Indonesia, the sentiment. So I said I recognize, but of course cannot be very, have to be, you learn about to be a diplomat, but then you have to be very firm. But I said, we respect China as a partner of Indonesia. We respect each other. But in the same time, this is the stand of the government of Indonesia. Friendship is very important. Sovereignty is another thing. Dignity is another thing about Indonesia. So we cannot discuss about the sovereignty. Same thing with the US. The sovereignty of Indonesia, based on the international law, 200 nautical miles, this belongs to the government Indonesia. So if you want to do economic activities over there, we can do it together. But you cannot do it alone, because this belongs to the government Indonesia. Yeah, but finally they invite me for dinner anyway, so it's quite good. Yeah. Next. Now, public satisfaction with government, the last result is to get this done. I think we are moving very well, because the style of the president, also the minister follow the style of the president, make it easier, make it more efficient, moving very well. The lifestyle also changing. See the progress. This starting last August, yeah. Last August pulling. Economic also improving, law, politics, and maritime. So we are moving very well. So people thought that we need something from, like begging something. No, I told my counterpart in the US, we don't need begging to you anymore, because Indonesia is a rich country, just, mismanagement before, by design. Yes, that's right. Mismanagement by design, because sometimes uncertainty is good, because you can play with uncertainty. You have certain things you cannot play anymore. You understand what I mean? Maybe you're quite absurd about this one. This is kind of joke, basically. Yeah. Now, uncertainty, mismanagement, because, well, you can do corruption over there. So we designed that one, so then you can do corruption. But when you make it very clear, very clean, make it within the corridor of law, you cannot do it anymore. So then when he has over to me, I give example that, this is wrong, but it's good. Okay, I pretend I didn't know that one. So he continued that one until today. He said no more. It's enough. It's enough. Now we changed the regulation. You cannot play around anymore. You have to stick with the regulation. That's, I think, the spirit today. We have the corridor of law, corridor of regulation. You have to go within this corridor. That make hope Indonesia, make people happy. So make Indonesia more transparent than before. Next. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you get some input, especially to the soldiers, young soldiers. I still remember when I was young. Now I'm getting old. So my son also, in your age, he's also studying in Australia for master's degree, intelligent course. So now I feel it's getting old because facing young people like you, and I hope that I can share some of my experience to you, that you can, maybe especially about leadership, small thing. Remember what I said to you. Give a good example to your soldiers. And when you promise, deliver your promise. Don't ever lie to your soldiers. When you don't deliver your things because some reason, you tell them, sorry, I cannot do it because this. You have to admit that you cannot achieve because some reason. Never lie to your soldiers. Prove it to your soldiers that you are knowledgeable commandant, you have a good heart, and you have a good power. Good luck. God bless you. Thank you.
We can just take maybe 5 minutes if there are any questions. Welcome to anything.
been to Indonesia a few times, and one of the things I was wondering, it really wasn't addressed, was how do you deal with urbanization?
With the
Urbanization, just a massive migration from the countryside into the cities.
Well, I think this one is simple. Basically, if you provide job opportunity in that village, they're not going to go to the city. That's what happened today. So you give economic activities in the village, they will remain in the village. So today, it happened like this. So job opportunity, I think the answer. If you don't have a good economic program in the village, then you will see the urbanization here. Is that a question from officer? Yeah.
Sir, in regards to decreasing regulation to improve economic opportunities, what, I guess, environmental constraints have been factored in? It seems, is that being addressed to manage environmental conservation with economic growth?
Environmental impact on the economy.
Environmental and economic growth.
Oh yeah. Yes, environment is very important for us. I give you one example, you know. Right now, tourism is a top priority for Indonesia, revenue. 2019, we believe we're going to get like $20 billion from the tourism. But there are three things you have to remember about tourism. Number one is environment. We have to deliver a good environment. Number two, we have to do the infrastructure. Number three, you have to see also the security over there. So this is, I think, the program of the government of Indonesia. So to decrease number of regulation in Indonesia, yes, we are working very hard on that. But we have to see also the equilibrium of this gradually. We cannot do it just one time. But President pushed very fast, very fast. And I think we cut the regulation around over 5,000 right now, the last 2 years, in order to speed up the economy, to bring some new environment to the investor to invest in Indonesia. It's not easy, but need the strong leadership. And you have to give the good example in order to successful this one. It's like tax amnesty. Tax amnesty, you have to be very firm that this program is good for the country, good for the people of Indonesia. Then you see everybody join to this program. Otherwise, you're not going to success of this one. Yes.
Sir, what challenges do you see trying to carry forward the momentum of the Jokowi administration and then towards the demographic bonus that you're going to experience? And then, like, what is Indonesia's goals for that demographic bonus when it happens?
Demographic bonus, I think, number one, education. Yeah. We have to improve the quality of education. We are talking about vocational training now. We are not talking about degree very much. We are talking vocational training, D1, D2, D3. Is that right, the terminology?
Yeah, diploma.
Diploma 1, Diploma 2, 3, and 4. That's, I think, the target of the government. Used to be the budget of two universities, 70%, only 30% for vocational training. But today the government say, okay, now, make it 50-50. Because so many industry right now, what do you call it, hilirisasi tadi? Downstream industry. Downstream industry need the vocational training. They don't need from the class graduate, fresh graduate. They need also the people who can do directly, like IT, like engineering, like many things, like agriculture. They need the vocational people. So that's, I think, the program for Indonesia. If you don't successful in this one, it's gonna be disaster for Indonesia. So we understand this fully. So the government work very hard right now. Free area, we are detailed. In this area, particularly, that we're going to improve the quality of education on what? On fishery industry. So then we have a vocational training for fishery industry. And this area for the agriculture, we have what's called vocational training for the agriculture. In this area, mining, we have the vocational training for the mining. That's the way we do it. And we have to do it simultaneously, so the people enjoy it from eastern part of Indonesia to western part of Indonesia. Otherwise, it's going to destabilize Indonesia in the near future. That's, I think, the program. And number one is talking about
Carrying forward the momentum of the Jokowi administration.
Well, Yes, well, we are facing basically right now, still, but I think we are successful to navigate from this one, is some people jealousy. You know. People, I don't want to say this one, but
Say it.
yeah. Maybe the previous people, previous government, they say, hey, what the hell of this, you know, Jokowi look at like this, you know, simple, like, why he's so successful, you know. So jealousy, they try to, you know, to disinformation. Say this, I give you one example, text somebody, say no, it's not going to successful, you know. Last month, only $1 billion. They say, no, stop $1 billion. Everywhere in Jakarta, social media, boom, 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 boom. Wow, Jokowi failed in this one. Everybody's pessimistic. I was very scary because I'm the one who designed this one, the tax amnesty. I was very scary with my staff. But since 3 days ago, we said, oh, we won, you know. We won, because it's like this. Today, and then now, no comment from them. Keep quiet. Not say, wow, successful, no. Then other comment, negative comment about the President Jokowi. That's, I think, we are facing, but I believe time to time reduce, because people admitted so far that, you know, they're successful of his program. So again, when you are leader one day, you are the army, so to your unit, that you are a commandant, that you have a, have a responsibility. You dare to make a responsibility, being a commandant. Yes. Thank you very much. Good luck to all of you and successful. I hope we'll see you, Admiral and General, one day. Thank you very much.